What exactly would you expect to find at Area 51? Aliens? Nuclear weaponry? The truth? I'm Bob from World 5 List. Or am I? Join me as I dissect some of the biggest theories about what's actually going on in Area 51. Number 7. Aliens. Alright, I'll get right to the heart of the matter because the biggest and most prominent theory about what's actually going on at Area 51 is the fact that it houses the bodies and aircraft of aliens. All of this would begin during the Roswell incident of 1947 when a man named Mac Brazel found debris from an aircraft near his ranch in New Mexico. The problem was, though, it couldn't be identified. Then the military got involved and released some reports that didn't really seem all that logical, and that's how it all got underway. Suddenly, government agents known as the Men in Black would begin to show up at people's houses in order to quiet them down about spreading rumors about the supposed aliens. After that, the words Area 51 would begin to spread, and through all of that, the legend, the myth, the conspiracy, whatever you see it as, about what the government actually did know about aliens, and exactly what they were hiding from the people would begin. But the question does still remain, is this really what's going on there? With the alleged location of the base revealed in official government documents, would they really house anything that could possibly be used to prove the truth? And while it could be possible that it did house alien artifacts or potential alien artifacts at one time, would they really still be there now? It is hard to say, but until something truly definitive arises, aliens are always going to be the first bet. However, not the only one. Number 6. Secret government headquarters. Another conspiracy theory that perfectly ties into what Area 51 could be is the idea of a secret government operation. Now, there's different takes on the tale. It usually does revolve around the leaders of the world meeting in one place to discuss world events without prying eyes. And there's also a theory that the true government of the United States is actually run from an underground bunker that's housed in Area 51. A shadow cabinet of sorts that helps to decide what really happens with the country. Given the thoughts and feelings toward President Trump at the moment, we bet that a lot of people are hoping the rumor is true. You know, just saying. Another pseudo-claim is that humanity has actually made contact with aliens and that there are people who answer only to the highest government officials and are also the liaisons between them and extraterrestrials themselves. If you go even deeper down the rabbit hole, you're going to find that people actually believe that a new government is being formed called the One World Order, where humans and aliens will equally govern over the Earth. You know, because humans get along with themselves to begin with. Number 5. The NASA moon landing. For those of you who somehow don't know, the moon landing conspiracy theory is simply this. In 1969, the United States was so terrified about the Russians making it to the moon before them that they decided to fake it. Now, after all, if you can show a man on the moon via television and do it convincingly, who really needs to go there for real, right? The problem with the theory has always been that if they did shoot it on a set, where exactly was it done? After all, they needed to ensure that only trusted personnel were part of the staging and that absolutely no one who wasn't authorized would be there. Sounds like you kinda need a top-secret military base in the middle of the desert, right? Well, of course we all know of one. Now, if you really think about it, it is actually plausible. Area 51 is said to be mostly underground, having lots of levels, and it is in the middle of the desert in Nevada. All you'd have to do is build the set underground via supplies that could easily be shipped to the base. Again, not really that hard to think about. Now, obviously, the United States did make it to the moon. That's not really the question. The question is a matter of exactly when. And if Area 51 is real, and it did help the US to pull off the hoax, it might have been a lot later than 1969. What do you think about it all? Let me know in the comments below. Number 4. An underground military complex. Now, let's look at this from a different perspective. Let's just say it's not an alien stockpile base, or even a government thing. Well, then what else could it be? They are in Nevada, and it's clear they're not doing too much above ground that anyone can tell, and that all begs the question, what if they're doing things under it? It is a perfect cover. You do nothing above ground and then use the underground to do whatever you want. No one's going to suspect what you're really doing because they can't even see it. What's more, because it's already a secret base that nobody's allowed to go to, that means you don't have to worry as hard about spies or someone seeing something that they're not really supposed to. So what exactly would the military be doing there? Well, whatever they want, of course. They could be trying to develop new weapons. You know, Earth-based weapons, mind you, right? Or maybe they're just doing things that are so secret that even the government doesn't know what they're doing. There's even rumors that the underground complex is something of a safe house in case something ever happened above ground. Number 3. Weather manipulation. From logic to science fiction, there's no end to the ideas as to what the military's doing around Area 51. A really fun one, though, is that they're using the base and the surrounding area to try and create weather manipulation technology. Now, before you begin to say that it's all totally whack, here is a fact for you. The military did actually study this principle via Project Cirrus. Now, there was a later project by a weather group that was called Project Storm Fury that was meant to try and slow the arrival of hurricanes. And if not already obvious, the projects were failures. However, that doesn't mean that the military stopped testing them. Now, as for why the military would be studying weather manipulation, it's actually pretty simple when you think about it. Fighting the weather is impossible. Just imagine being able to create a storm above where your foes are staged. You could bog them down, demoralize them, ruin their weaponry depending on how big the downpour was, and even depending on the terrain, you can literally wash them away. Now, how's that for a weapon? And of course, it would also give you the ability to use this to help farmers during dry seasons and potentially end the world's thirst and hunger problems. However, it is the military, so I don't really think they'd be going that generous with their creations. Number 2. The truth. Now, Area 51 is an actual place. That's a fact. It's a military base that the government has acknowledged does exist. And on paper, well, the government's paper anyway, it's a base that tests experimental aircraft. But let's ask ourselves a question that really needs to be asked. What if that's actually all they do? Around the time that the base was first acknowledged by the public, it was about 1947. The area around the base had been used during World War II in order to help launch U-2 planes, spy planes used for high-altitude reconnaissance. Then, after the war, the way that flight and planes were viewed changed entirely. But why? Well, it was because the jet engine would be born. The Germans were the first to use full-on jet engines in their planes, and the United States wanted to make sure that they followed suit. And they did. Ever since then, the way that planes have been made and developed has always been top secret, and millions of dollars are spent in order to help design the next best aircraft. So, what if that's really what's going on at Area 51? They're just trying to make the next great fighter plane or jet or stealth aircraft. It's hard to say for real, but it's definitely a plausible theory. Also, the open area and airspace that Area 51 is near is perfect for flying crafts of all shapes and sizes. They can get the craft going and then hide it back in the base before anyone ever sees it or even gets a picture. There are whole areas in deserts in various states that are restricted solely for the purpose of flying and testing out planes and pilots, so why not there? Number 1. Absolutely nothing. There's no doubt that Area 51 is there. There's no doubt that it was, and possibly still is, a military base. But going back to the previous point, what if that's all it is? Instead of some kind of experimental testing base, what if it's just a base? What if there's actually nothing happening? Alright, I get it, there is plenty of proof that says that it's more than just that, but there's just something really kind of odd about this so-called evidence. Photos being redacted could just be the military not wanting their base photographed. The not revealing what it's about could just be that they don't want to divulge anything about their bases. You think that all governments tell the truth about what's going on in their military bases? I don't think so. In magic terms, why not pull a sleight of hand and have everyone distracted by the base that's been in the news and in popular conspiracy theorist sites, and then in another hand, at another base somewhere else, actually do all of that secret alien stuff? We're pretty sure they've done that before. The only question is whether or not they're doing it now with Area 51. It's enough to make you wonder, isn't it? You know, because I want to believe. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you're subscribed and check out some of our other videos, and I'll see you next time.